So I posted a video a bit ago. I'll link it in the caption. Basically being like neopronouns are valid, right? And some people were like, yeah, I agree with neopronouns, just not emoji pronouns. Let me explain something. Or like asking how to use emoji pronouns, etc. Right? Now, let me say this. Emoji pronouns are not used in person. You're not calling someone like cherry emoji in person. They're for only online use. They are for people who who can't put their actual pronouns in their bio, for example, like they, them, because of safety reasons, because they don't want to be outed, whatever. But they also don't want to be misgendered, because being misgendered f***ing sucks. So they'll put an emoji in their bio, and that'll be in place of pronouns. I'll use an example on screen. Just so they're not being misgendered, but they're also not being outed. I hope this makes sense.
That just makes no fucking sense. I mean, it's just bullshit. Oh my.
Now, just when you thought this whole pronoun thing couldn't get any crazier, that pink-haired young lady we just heard from in the first clip comes along and drops emoji pronouns on us. Anyway, welcome back. Thank you guys so much for joining me. So I have a fairly quick and very crazy Weekend Clown World update for you guys today, and as usual, we have, well, very little time to waste. So, let's get into it. Now, if you place your attention on the screen for a moment. So myself and this fella here hope everybody had a happy Valentine's Day. Now, he either lost a bet, is being blackmailed, or enjoys dressing up in women's lingerie and humiliating himself, and I don't know which one it is.
What a f***ing loser. Literally, what a f***ing loser.
All right, we're going to keep it moving with some more fake outrage. Now, these people will literally complain about everything that Donald Trump does. For example, changing the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. However, when the Democrats changed Mount McKinley to Mount Denali and Fort Bragg to Fort Liberty, they didn't say a word. It was crickets. Roll it.
Do you want to help fight stupidity and potentially make Donald Jehoshaphat Trump very angry? Here's what you're going to do. You are going to go to Google and type in Gulf of Mexico. As you can see, Gulf of America popped up. That's where the fighting stupidity comes in. See these three little dots over here? You are going to click on those. This little drop-down bar is going to pop up and you are going to select Send Feedback. Then what you're going to want to do is select Inaccurate Content. It's going to ask you for some details, so go ahead and type out the correct name for this body of water is the Gulf of Mexico. Because despite Donald Jehoshaphat Trump's executive order, it is still the Gulf of Mexico. You are going to press Submit, and they will thank you for your feedback. Then Google will send you an email thanking you for submitting your feedback on the Gulf of Mexico. Hopefully, this will get enough reports that we will be able to override the system and make it change it back to the Gulf of Mexico to get under Donald Jehoshaphat Trump's stupid orange skin.
What's that? Say that again?
Because despite Donald Jehoshaphat Trump's executive order, it is still the Gulf of Mexico.
Wrong, 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 wrong. Wrong, 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 wrong. You're wrong.
Now, if that young fellow we just heard from actually thinks he's going to out-troll one of the master trolls, he's got another thing coming. Listen to what Trump says here about Prime Minister Blackface. Excuse me, Dictator Trudeau. Excuse me, Prime Minister Trudeau of Canada. Sorry, roll it.
With Canada, there was obviously a delay in implementing those tariffs.
I spoke to Governor Trudeau on numerous occasions, and we'll see what happens. But it just sets up so good for them. Look, the people would pay much less tax than they're paying right now. They'd have perfect military protection. They don't have any military protection because and you take a look at what's going on out there. You have Russian ships, you have China ships, you have Chinese ships, you have a lot of ships out there, and you know, people are in danger. This is a different world today. It's a different world. They need our protection, yes.
What did you say?
I spoke to Governor Trudeau on numerous occasions, and we'll see what happens.
Got him! Got him!
Now, some of you might think it's childish of Trump to refer to Prime Minister Justin Trudeau of Canada as Governor Trudeau, but I love it. I think it's hilarious because, as many of you know, I am childish. I still laugh at fart jokes.
I remember when I lost my mind. Yeah.
Was that a fart?
Anyway, next up we have this clip from a podcast where these two individuals are talking about how much crying there was during Trump's first presidency and how all that crying is coming back now. Now, pay close attention to the young fella in this clip because he is a familiar face. Roll it.
The only thing I want to say is I forgot how much crying there was in the first Trump presidency, and it's coming back.
It's back.
It's coming back stronger.
The waterworks are back. It happened actually the other night. I was just in bed with Terry, and I just turned and he was sobbing.
It just seems kind of gay, doesn't it?
I don't know, maybe, yeah.
So that fellow on the podcast who was talking about some dude laying in bed next to him crying because Donald Trump is the president is this guy who pretended to be a White House intern during the Biden administration and did a viral TikTok with White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki a few years ago. Now, I'm not going to torture you guys again and play that whole TikTok clip, but that was him.
I feel sorry for your mother.
Next up, we have this lady who shares the same sentiment as a lot of these Democrat and liberal types. They all seem to think that Donald Trump and Elon Musk, who both became billionaires long before they ever entered into politics, are stealing money from the American taxpayer. Why were these people never concerned about the Bidens, the Obamas, the Pelosi's, the McConnells, and many others who all became very rich after entering the political arena? Roll it.
Just so you know, I believe Trump and Elon Musk are planning to rob this country blind and then leave to Gaza, where they're going to live happily ever after.
You must have got manure for your brains.
You've shit for brains.
All right, next up we have this fella who has a message for anyone that voted for Donald Trump. Roll it.
If you voted for Trump, I want this video to stay rent-free in your head forever. You are responsible for so much damage in this world because you are not emotionally responsible for yourself. They are actively trying to dismantle our country. Enemies of this country. You voted for enemies of this country. The world's going to know that. I know reading is hard, but you need to learn how to read a room. Test us.
You think you're tough. You think you're tough, huh? You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
Now, at this point, I think everybody pretty much knows that the Democratic Party is down bad. I think they even know it. However, this fella thinks he has the answer to all the Democrats' problems. Roll it.
AOC is going to be the savior of the Democrat Party. She is the person that we must be rallying behind to get us out of this abyss that we are in right now under Donald Trump. This was on full display again today after Tom Homan, Donald Trump's border czar, went on Fox News claiming that AOC might be at risk to go to jail, that she was in legal jeopardy because she put out videos on social media informing undocumented migrants about what their rights are and what they could do to stand up for themselves. You know, being a decent human being and using her free speech to help other people, he claimed that now she could go to jail for doing that. So what did AOC do? She clapped back, and she clapped back hard. AOC told Tom Homan, maybe she's in trouble now, mocking what he said about her, and then wrote, maybe he can learn to read. The Constitution might be a good place to start. AOC has the passion, the fight, the energy, and the general care for the American people that we need right now. It's time for that old bag Nancy Pelosi to get out of the way, and anybody else, including Hakeem Jeffries, that doesn't want to take Donald Trump aggressively head on, who doesn't want to pretend like we're going to normalize this and hope to have decent relationships with a fascist dictator, Donald Trump. She is the one. She is the one stepping up, and she is the answer to get us out of this mess.
You serious?
Hey guys, real quick, before we go any further, I want to give a huge shout out to the sponsors of today's video. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to let this loop on the screen. Here we have another one of these people that spends tens of thousands of dollars on plastic surgery to look, well, plastic. Anyway, today's video is being brought to us by our first sponsor is none other than Pastor Bob Rogers. And our second sponsor today is Sean Patterson. Pastor Bob and Sean, thank you both so much for sponsoring today's video. I really appreciate the support. And I want to give a big shout out to today's honorable mention, Lisa, for leaving a super thanks on the last video. So, Lisa, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. So once again, today's video sponsors are Pastor Bob Rogers and Sean Patterson, with the honorable mention going to Lisa. Now, if you'd like to sponsor the next video and help support the channel, there is a PayPal link in the description box below, and I will say your full name as a sponsor of said video unless stated otherwise by you. All right, I think we've seen enough of this young lady for one day. Get this off the screen, please. Oof.
Why? Why would you do that to yourself?
All right, next up we have Senator John Fetterman. Now, I'm still scratching my head trying to figure out how this guy got elected. Anyway, Fetterman wants Trump to rescind his executive order saying that trans people can no longer serve in the military. Roll it.
Hi, this is Senator John Fetterman. I'm standing in front of my office and two flags that are two core values of mine. I am an unapologetically pro-military, also very pro for the LGBTQ communities, and I would like to remind everyone that it was a time when it was very controversial to desegregate our military. And there was a time it was incredibly controversial to have women serve in a combat roles. And it was also very controversial regarding on who loves. That's why I'm encouraging you to honor the inherent dignity of how you identify. And I'm going to defend and lean in for the trans community now, because right now it might not be popular to do that. That's exactly the reason why I'm choosing to lean in on right now and stand with this community. I am calling to rescind that kind of executive orders and to allow and honor the inherent dignity of the soldier, and regardless of whatever the race is, whatever the gender is, whatever who they love or how they identify. And remember, that does make for a military that's fully compatible with being lethal and to win wars.
That was the biggest load of crap I've ever heard.
Now, for those of you out there that somehow think John Fetterman is actually based, I assure you, John Fetterman is not based. Anyway, next up we have this young lady talking about Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl halftime performance last week, and she says, America does not deserve black culture. Okay, roll it.
And all I can keep saying in my head is that, like, America does not deserve black culture. Like, black culture is too good for America. America does not appreciate it. America just steals it and colonizes it and uses it as their own. They don't deserve it at all. Like, Kendrick Lamar put on a show of a lifetime. People don't even, half the people that watched it didn't even get what he was saying, what the message was. But, you know, us people, we saw it, we clocked it, and we received it. And we're thankful because it's Black History Month. He made us proud. And it was art. And it was amazing to watch.
Are you fucking dumb?
Hey, where are the white women at?
All right, next up we have one of those man on the street type interviews done by this young fella, David Medina. Now let me just say this. Any American citizen that wants to keep the IRS around has been fully brainwashed and propagandized. Roll it.
How does he cheat at golf?
Every chance he gets. You have to choose to be a citizen in a democracy or be a subject under a king.
What are some things that Trump's doing that you're not liking?
Just about everything.
Give me one example.
He did away with aid, U.S. aid. He did away with people all through the government. The government needs people to work things. He's getting rid of people in the IRS, and that's where we make our money.
So he's making government smaller though, right? Aren't you for a limited government kind of?
I'm all for limited government, but not.
You don't want Trump to do it.
Not at the expense of people.
You thought that some of the aid that's going overseas. Do you think a Sesame Street show in Iraq is necessary over people that are hurting here in the United States? That was one of the many things that USAID was going to.
Education will stamp out all of the bad people in the world, and if you have education, and Sesame Street does do education, that's important.
Everything that guy just says is bullshit. Thank you.
Now, if you live in Worcester, Massachusetts, the circus is in town. Now, Worcester, Mass. recently became a sanctuary city for trans and gender diverse people. So we're going to be wrapping it up with this clip of a recent city council meeting in Worcester. Now, this clip is kind of long. It's like 4 or 5 minutes long. That's why I saved it till the end. It just goes to show you that these people are not helping their cause with these public displays. Anyway, things are clearly getting very crazy out there, guys. So please take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Till next time, love you guys. Peace. Roll it.
I need the city to protect me because the federal government won't. And if you think you're afraid of Trump, you should see how afraid of Trump I am.
Can you wrap up, please?
Yes, I can. If you say that you're afraid of Trump and that's why you don't want the city to be a safe space for trans people, you better prepare for trans people to make this a very unsafe space.
Are you threatening me? I'm shaking right now. I don't want to be here.
Please.
I'm sorry, am I taking too long pleading for my life?
You remembered how many children I have and that 2 of them are trans.
But that's simply not possible.
I speak as both the B and the T in the LGBT.
I'm multiply disabled. I have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which is a connective tissue disorder that causes me immense physical pain. I'm on the autism spectrum, and I have narcolepsy, and I couldn't drive myself here, so I had to hide from my driver that I was in drag, which is not an easy thing to do in drag.
I do not want to be here. It's my day off. I do not want to be in your DMs. I do not want to be in your email inboxes. I do not want my creativity writing diss tracks like Kendrick. I don't want to spend an hour applying glitter on my face so that you will hear and see me. I want you to listen to me.
Let us remember that the Nazis burned the books the Nazis burned books on gender sciences first. Now the administration has villainized and marginalized migrant workers, trans, LGBT people, and even special needs, denying life-saving and affirming care.
That guy's got a serious weight problem. Go home, start exercising.
Can you look at me and tell me how many of my friends need a before you do anything?
Please wrap up.
Look at me!
Okay, we're all done here.
Fucking pathetic!
No, we're all done. Come on.
He's an angry elf.
Of course, we need to continue celebrating Black History Month because in spite of what's coming down from Washington, we all know that we all exist and we all need to be recognized for our existence.
But be aware that you are a guest in my house when you come. And when you come, know that there are strong queer and trans people in my classroom who will collect you with the quickness. My name in drag is Dee Dee Delight. And my name out of drag is Dewey Cosgrove.
Laddie LaRouge, he, they, in drag, District 3.
My legal name is Olivia. My public name is Livy. My wife and I own a home in the Canal District.
I speak as someone who is always misgendered, like all the time. People refer to me as sir when I prefer to be referred to as ma'am.
Excuse me, it's ma'am. It is ma'am.
I speak as someone who is afraid to use public toilets. I speak as someone who is a member of this community and is a queer person.
You have to imagine being me and my wife, fearing that our marriage rights will be stripped away at any moment.
Please, I only have so much time. Please, Joe's gonna cut me off.
Which matters more? Covering the legal fees of systemic police brutality or protecting the lives of queer people in our community? How many lives have to be lost before you consider fighting back against fascism and corruption?
Now is the time to say that if federal money relies on the dehumanization of trans people, that we don't want your goddamn money.
I get that some of you care more about easy funding than trans lives and don't mind Nazis for some whatever reason, but
Normally I would say good evening, but through the chair I will only impart my sour grapes.
It's an extremely emotional and taxing thing to stand up here as someone as part of the trans and gender diverse community.
My name is Katie. I'm from District 5, and I'm speaking in support of agenda items 10B and 14B. Right now in our country, Trump is threatening the trans and gender diverse community.
Well, I'm going to take this damn mask off.
Noticing people here are trying to control the rights of others, and that's not right. We should make Worcester a sanctuary city for trans people. Everybody deserves to feel safe, and everybody needs to feel safe. I've lived here for 4 years, and there hasn't really been any changes in how people feel safe in the city. My birthday is this Saturday, and all I want is peace and for you to vote yes. Please don't let me down for my birthday. There's a lot of queer people that I love, and to Candy Carlson, you should know to never call someone I'm 7, and I know better. The kids are watching, and we're ready to vote you out.
Oh my gosh.
You people are a circus.
2, 10, 12, 15. Oops, stepping on a. It's black. Anyway.